Hello, and welcome to Lit by Moonlight, where it's not a phase to try and steal a sword from a living saint. This week we are talking about Shadow and Bone, Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6.
In this set of episodes, Caitlin, Genya reunites with Alina underground after she and Bagra escape the Darkling. Meanwhile, the Crows have been contracted by Zoya and Tolia to find the Nichevenyan, which is this sword that has properties to kill the Darkling, a little different from the book, which is why I'm sitting here with my glasses, what is that? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Alina is able to connect with the Darkling through the link between them, but Mal interrupts her, preventing her from having the chance to kill him then and there, and then they wouldn't even need the Nichevenyan. But Mal ruined it again. Thanks, Mal. Very book Mal of you. Bagra takes Mal and Alina to Morozova's workshop and reveals to them that she is Morozova's daughter, responsible for having killed her sister with the cut.
Morozova brought that girl back to life, and Mal is believed to be her descendant. Mal is therefore the Firebird, and it explains his inhuman ability to be a tracker. Meanwhile, the Crows have been poisoned in an effort to steal the sword and are all out cold, having hallucinations. Wylan is able to save them by forcing them to eat butterflies as an antidote. After a fight with Oval, who is revealed to be Sancta Nair, Nair gives in and lets them have the sword.
That's a lot. I mean, so I was just saying to you, it feels like that's a lot, but also nothing at all. Everything that's happened this past 2 episodes, a lot has happened. We're going through a lot of different perspectives at once. We're we're over here with the Crows, and then we're over here in the Crows' minds because they're being poisoned, and then we're back in the Shadow and Bone world, and then we're in the prison with Pekka and Matthias. It's
forgetting about Matthias.
So much happening. But then when I sat down to write the summary, I was like, but what really did happen though?
Yeah.
What really did happen at
Who
all?
knows?
So
A lot of mumbo jumbo.
we'll get more into that in a second. But in the meantime, allow us to introduce ourselves. I'm Emberlyn, and I am basking in the DC sun behind me.
My name's Caitlin, and I'm basking in the New York sun in front of me as it wipes away our seasonal depression, and it is warm out, and all is well.
So, Caitlin, was there a specific moment in this pair of episodes that hooked you?
I really liked episode 5's title card, where it shows obviously the title of Shadow and Bone. This one had an animation of crows all flying in, and 5 of them land on the sign that says Shadow and Bone, but then the 6th one hits a window behind them to represent Matthias, and that made me laugh really hard. I also really liked the Crows working with Tolia and Zoya, because one thing that is fun about this show is how we get to see characters who don't either meet each other at all in the books or have very rare interactions, all interact with each other in the show and get to see how they all play off of each other. So when the first big group scene that happened between all of them, I was like, wee, this is fun, there's so many people here. So I like big group, and they're all planning a heist, and I love heists, and I love character driven stories when there's a whole bunch of them. So I was having a good time.
Yeah. It's giving Marvel, Avengers Endgame, but not in a bad way, because it's everybody's together who and we all get to see how they interact with each other. So
yeah, it's
very
fun.
Interesting. Yeah.
What about you?
I loved seeing Wesper and Wylan together in the very beginning in the morning, in bed. I thought that was really cute and soft, and it was just it's so rare, I feel to see the Crows in very domestic settings. So to see them together and just have nothing be wrong in the present time was nice. I feel at this point I am truly watching this show for Wesper and Wylan, and Wesper and Wylan alone, and Nina. And I just feel I could watch them all day, and I want entire episodes dedicated to their love. So that was it for me. And I want to emphasize that was it for me, because I will be honest, I had a really hard time getting into episode 5. I watched the beginning of it 3 times over, and I got distracted every time. And I forgot what the Nichevenyan was And then when I remembered, I was like, all right, what's all this then? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know this plot. Like, me, who's having a difficult time adjusting to these changes from the book, I'm like, what's all this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, what's happening?
Otherwise, it was really, and I mean, like, very hard for me to just, like, sit there and stare and watch it. I finally sat down today and watched, like, all of the beginning of episode 5. And then I could kind of, like, get into it from there, but it took me, it took a couple false starts. It was like when you're trying to, like, crank your lawnmower, if you have a crank lawnmower and you grew up poor like me. And it just wasn't turning over.
Yeah. I think that whole plot line with the sword came from the Lives of Saints, which I haven't read. I just was like, okay, I guess we can add this in too, because we've added all the other books in. So.
We're just gonna pour it all in. It's all
go big or go home,
in.
baby. So, despite all of that, did you have a favorite quote?
Yeah, I had a couple.
Yeah.
This felt like the best place in my notes to note this, but whenever someone refers to the Darkling as Alexander, I found myself wondering, like, where are all of the Hamilton and Darkling edits? Like, where are all of the Alexander, like, where do I find the It's Quiet Uptown edits? Where do I find the not thrown away my shot edits? Like, where are they? Are they on TikTok? Are they on YouTube somewhere? Like,
they've got to exist.
What do I gotta do to get my hands on that niche content? Mm-hmm. It's not that I enjoy that content. It's just that I expect it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm entitled to it. So.
I mean, the internet makes everything else, so this might as well be.
Yeah. Right? Like, whenever I'm just like, Alexander! Like, whenever I hear it, I'm like, And then, obviously, I think, like, the key line that's the takeaway from this set of episodes is metal, your beauty is your armor, it's fragile stuff, all show really, but what's inside you, that's steel. It's brave and unbreakable, and it doesn't need fixing. You don't need fixing. And that's a line from David to Jenya, which I think is, like, very lovely and representative of their relationship, and, like, this deciding factor for David that regardless of what Jenya looks like, and even though she is beautiful and she's well known for being gorgeous, he loves her despite that, and he loves her, well, he doesn't love her despite that, he loves her through the damage that the Darkling has caused to her face, and loves her regardless of her looks, because it's what's inside that matters to him. It's a really lovely way of saying, oh, you're beautiful on the inside, you know? And the outside, but on the inside as well. But I also have a bone to pick, because you'll find I have a lot of bones to pick right now. Like,
a lot of shadow and bones.
I have a lot of shadows and bones. I'm just not I'm really not in the mood to trifle with the trifling that the Netflix creators of this show are doing.
Yeah.
So I have one question, and that is, where is I am not ruin, I am ruination? Where is it?
Thank you.
Where is it?
Yep.
Where is it? That's, like, the best line in the entire book.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if maybe they're going to bring that in later in the season. Like,
that'd be stupid.
Where?
Still, because they had every chance to use it in that one scene, and they didn't.
No.
I don't even remember what she said. I just know that it wasn't there.
Yeah. Did we forget to add it in? Like, what happened? Did something get messed up in post? Like, let's, like, no.
Yeah. I was waiting. I was, like, waiting for it. I'm like, she's going to say it. She's going to say it. Oh, now it's the next scene. Okay.
And then she never said it. It was, like, so weird. I mean, I'm really hoping it comes up again this season, because I just feel like it's the line. Like, it's the line. It's the line from the book. Like, I would be so upset if it just never showed up. It's so representative of everything that Jenya went through and her resilience despite that, and to have that not be included in the episode just feels like a big mistake.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then I guess the last one I want to speak to is when Wylan is looking at the butterflies and he says, I cannot believe that I get to see this in my lifetime. I just thought that was sweet. Like, Wylan as a character is so special, because I feel like it's a line that I feel like really, really does a great job of showing what a soft and lovely person he is, and just like how gentle and like
he says hello to the butterfly.
I hope the fanfic writers have a great time with that. Mm-hmm. Truly, I will be having a great time with that. But how about you, Caitlin? Did you have any good lines that you really stuck with you from this past couple of episodes?
I did really like when Jenya said to Nikolai, "What I want to know is whether or not you truly mean to fix all that is broken about Ravka, or if you are just destined to repeat the failures of our previous kings. Get him." You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
she came from it. I loved it. I believe it was part of Kaz's hallucination when he hears his brother say, "What is the worth of your life if you have no one left to fight for?" And it cuts to Inej. I was like, hey, there's the reason. When the Saint Oval, was it Sancta Neyer? Hold on. Sancta Neyer said, "When you allow yourself to be blindsided by love, two worlds make a universe. He's not my weakness. He is my universe." I was like, that's love. And I cried a little bit. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but that was beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know who you people are, but great job.
I don't know who you are, but you have some really good points there. There's a lot these 2 episodes were a lot about love, I feel like, in the relationships between people. When Wylan said to Jesper about the butterflies, "When I saw it, all I wanted in the world was to tell you about it and squeeze your hand." Like, that's love, baby. The person you want to turn to first to like share things with. Oh, that was so sweet. And like the way he like just is monologuing because he wants to tell Jesper and he has to get all this information out. Lots of good lines about love these couple episodes. So those are good things. Yeah.
Speaking of love, speaking of eternal cursed love, what song would you cry or scream to after finding out that you have to kill the love of your life? Like Alina just found out she has to kill Mal.
I know we mentioned this song a lot, but the other day I saw a TikTok that was like, there are 3 things in this world that are inevitable, and it is death, taxes, and that every time a piece of media comes out that completely rearranges my brain cells, changes my view of the world, makes me question my existence, somebody's going to make the most heart-wrenching edit to "I Know the End" by Phoebe Bridgers, and it is going to murder me every single time, and I love it. I will link that TikTok in our description, but I saw that and I was like, it's so true, because I have seen, like, any show that I watch, there is some edit to that song, and it makes me cry every time. Yeah.
Real. It's a great song. I feel like Phoebe's, we've talked about this before, like super deja vu, but Phoebe's guttural scream at the very end always like fucks me up. Like she just kind of like takes to the mic and goes, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, girl, don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah.
Mine is "My Tears Ricochet" by Taylor Swift, because a specific set of lines: "If I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too." And also because this song has been in my head for like, I don't know, like a week now, and I don't know why. So I just thought it fit really well here. And then like there's another line that I've been singing all week, which is, "If I can go and I can go anywhere I want, just not home." And Alina can't go home because the Darkling is about to fucking flip that orphanage, babe. So, that was another one that really stuck with me. But I think, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
So, which character would you dream about in a poison-induced hallucination?
Wylan.
Yeah.
For sure. The little butterfly scene, as I said before, like really, really got me. I just felt like, again, it was such a great representation of who he is. The butterflies were pretty. The vibes were great. Jack Wolf, just like so cute.
Continues to be the star of the show.
So cute. So I'll be dreaming about him and his butterflies, and hoping that he's thriving in a butterfly garden somewhere in my poisoned memories. How about you, Caitlin?
I said Jenya and David because I love them. I love getting more time with them. I love their love, and I want everything to be okay for them always. But I also said, for actors, I said Archie Renault and Jesse May for both of their actings in the scene where Mal tells Alina he's a firebird, because it was just really sad. At the time, I was just like kind of pissed about how things went, but in the moment, I was just like sucked back in, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is really sad. because like I don't know, their acting was really good. So the show is well acted. Written, I have other words for, but
I think if you zoom in and you look at like their micro interactions in the moment, it is like a good scene. Especially if you haven't read the book. I feel like if you haven't read the book, it's like there's nothing to complain about. Maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why I think your continued solicitation of opinions from people who haven't read the book and are just watching the show, I think is really valuable here. So if anybody wants to comment on YouTube or tweet us or something and tell us how you're liking this rendition of Shadow and Bone so far, that would be
because it's a whole different perspective of like, okay, like there are things that we're not liking because we have extra knowledge of like this wasn't how it's supposed to go, but if you have no idea how it's supposed to go, is it still like, do you like it?
Yeah.
It'll be nice, we promise. I just want to know the other side of it.
Yeah.
And be educated.
Are there characters you would purposely spill tea onto?
Whoever decided to soften the Darkling so much might accidentally spill some tea on. I feel like this season we're not seeing how horrible and manipulative he actually is. It seems more of like, poor guy, he's haunted by the horrors in shadow monster form, and it's killing him, and now his mom is dead. Aw, shucks, you know?
Wow.
And
good point.
as if he didn't like blind Bagra in the books, and like I know he's done awful things in the show as well. Like in these 2 episodes, he destroys Karamzin and attacks Lena, but I feel like with everything else, it's like those are kind of overshadowed, pun intended.
Yeah.
With like all like the woe is him kind of storyline, and it just, I don't know, it's just not sitting well with me. I feel like it's in the books, like there's more of a narrative of like this guy sucks, and it's not just because that you want him to be the villain, it's because he genuinely sucks. Like there was a chance where he could have been redeemed, but because he's making all of these terrible decisions, he kind of loses that, and he does awful things. And in the show it's just like, but Ben Barnes is hot. Root for him. So,
maybe he'll be different this time.
Maybe he'll be different. Yeah. Like he's a really interesting character, but with my interpretation of him in the books, like this dude was lost forever and deserves no redemption, and it just seems like they want to keep trying to redeem him or showing you ways as to why he is okay. He's not that bad. You know.
He's not that bad.
Yeah.
Pretty people are incapable of crimes.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, exactly. What about you?
I literally don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't want to blame anybody. Character wise, like, okay, yeah, like everything you said, retweet about the Darkling. Like, yeah. But I think in the grand scheme of things, if I were to give you a unique answer, I don't have one because I don't know who to blame. Like, I'm confused about everything that happened this last 2 episodes. Like, so confused. And I don't know if that's on me. I don't know. Maybe it is on me. I don't know. All I know is I walked away from those 2 episodes feeling like, like I don't really know what this show is now, and I'm confused. Did I say I was confused?
You might have mentioned it. I feel like this season is they put all of the books in a blender and like they turned it on and then they poured us a drink and they said, "Here you go."
Maybe I'm not smart enough to keep up with all of it, but it takes me half of a scene to figure out what we're doing again after we switch from another scene. Like, I am so confused. Like, I think it would have been ideal for the writers to choose like 2 storylines this season and run with them, but instead we're getting like all these additional perspectives that I don't know are not like what did I just watch? Did I just watch Pekka Rollins like beat up his brother? Maybe that we just kind of like boop, like, you know, boop, bounce right over that, huh? And then just everything else. I'm really confused. Like, if I definitely think this is a show that you have to stream. Like, you have to watch it all in one day, because if you do what I'm doing and you try to watch like 2 episodes a week, you're not gonna have any idea what in the Sam heck is going on. I've
What in the Sam heck?
Completely lost control of the narrative. I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on, and I think I just need to spill tea onto myself, and maybe that would keep me accountable for keeping track of what's going on. That's right.
There's a lot. Well, there's a lot happening. Like, it got to a point, like, by episode 4, I was like, I guess I'm just gonna have to, like, make peace with the fact that they are not following the books. Well, they're putting stuff in the books, but not in the right order. So I just, like, kind of, like, had to take that part out of my brain and be like, don't expect it to go this way, because we're already not doing it. But even, like, within the episodes, even if, like, I kind of knew, like, where the plot was going and what they were doing, like, in these 2 episodes with, like, the crows trying to get the sword, but then also Mal and Alina trying to track down the Firebird, and also they're going to Morzova's little hut cave thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would, like, we would spend so much time with Mal, Alina, and Bagra, and then we would cut to the crows, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Where are we? Are they dying? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like a bit of a whiplash because their change in, like, tone, because it's calm, quiet, horse riding story time with Bagra, and then it's we're dying. Now we're fighting a saint.
Why are you dying again? Can you back up? Like,
here, quick, eat a butterfly, because that's normal. You know?
Like, oh.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. So, considering how confused you are with everything that's going on, do you have a peak from these 2 episodes?
There were, like, little tiny bits and bobs here and there that I really enjoyed. Like, when Alina and Genya hug in the caves because they're soulmates, actually. Love that part. Like, what a good hug. What a good reunification of them both. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still tracking everything you just said, because, yeah. The map as, like, a storytelling tool, I think remains cool. Like,
yeah.
I think it's, like, the one thing that's helping me keep track of what's going on and where we're going as, like, a transitional tool. It's kind of like when you see the exterior shot of the Tipton Hotel in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, it's like, oh, where are we? Oh, okay, we're in a hotel. You think it's really confusing on that show.
I need that. And I wonder if the people that are doing the map animations are like, where are we going now? Like, trying to keep up with it all. But I really like it. I think the map is just really cool. Like, I love seeing the map come alive from the book. It's just cool. I like it. It gives me joy.
I wish Dora could see it.
I like that Nina just casually uses a handheld fan. Like, I think that's really cute. Yeah. Like, she's I have one here. She's literally over there, like, all the time. This is patriotic, but I promise you I'm not a patriotic person. Like, she's just over there, like, during the day, and I'm like, I love that for you. That's amazing. Okay, this was actually a big thing for me, and I wish we saw more of these transitions when we were thinking about Kaz's callbacks to what happened with him and Geordie when he was younger, like, in terms of flashbacks. When he faints and he falls into the water in the canal and he's, like, shaped like a cross. That was cool.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was cool.
Where is all this? Where is this? This is cool. This is cohesive. I love that. Like, that is such a cool, like, that is how I imagine things happening when I read the books. So when I saw that, I was like, like, more of that, less like white flush around all of the flashbacks, more just like natural transitions into these flashbacks to Geordie.
Well, speaking of, like, the little, like, white border around, like, the flashbacks, there were scenes in these 2 episodes where they didn't have that. So I was like, why couldn't we do this the entire time? Like, we know it's a flashback. It's okay. Kaz is not 9 years old currently.
I
so,
noticed
like, we
that.
know. If you just, like, establish it, like, this is Kaz and this is his older brother whose name is Geordie. That's all we need to know. And just, like, trust your audience to be smart enough to figure that out. We don't need the border. The border took me out. And I'm like, okay, we don't need this. But then, like, they did it in this episode. I'm like, you don't see it? It's fine. It's great.
Yeah, there were times when it wasn't there. You were right.
Yeah.
And I don't get. But those were all mine. How about you?
I really liked, obviously all the Wesper scenes I loved. I've talked a lot about Wesper in our past 2 reviews of the previous 4 episodes, but what I really want to give the flowers to is the interactions with characters who we don't see interact in the books. And I did not know that I needed a Jesper and Tolia friendship until I saw it. Tolia was like Jesper's wingman these 2 episodes, and it was hilarious. I love how quickly he picked up that something was off between Jesper and Wylan, and he sits down with Jesper. He goes, all right, what did you do? What's going on? Here's what you can do. And when Jesper tries to talk to Wylan, but Wylan still walks away from him, and then like Tolia like leans back and he's like, what happened? And Jesper's just like, I don't know, like mouthing across the market to each other. I just thought it was like really sweet. And like at the end when Jesper and Wylan are kissing and like hugging, and Jesper looks over Wylan's shoulder to Tolia and he like winks at him, and Tolia's like, yeah, like you did it, bud. I just really, really loved their friendship, and I just loved like seeing these 2 characters interact because they don't ever in the books, I don't think. Also, Jesper's skirt, 10 out of 10. Great outfit. Very Jesper Fahey of him to be wearing, and it looks so good. I love it. 10 out of 10.
More men in skirts, please.
More men in skirts. So that was my first peek. Did you have another one, or did you?
I listed them all. That was all of them. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll just keep going then. Real quick, I thought it was really funny that Mal went missing and then came back with no explanation besides the plot needing him gone for a second.
Yeah, I thought that too. Okay. Yep.
I thought it doesn't even bother me. I just thought it was funny.
I think it's weird because it's like we've been getting all these other perspectives from all these other random people. So it's weird that we didn't have like at least like one additional scene with him. But
yeah, unless something was like deleted or what, but he was taken hostage. I think because Vasily wanted him taken prisoner because he was a deserter, but then nothing ever happens. He's just gone the next episode, and then he comes back like nothing happened. I was like, all right, cool. Okay, great. Good writing. 10 out of 10. The other big one was the Kaz and Nej scene, and I will say, when I first watched this, scared the hell out of me because I did not realize it was a hallucination, despite everybody else having hallucinations. For some reason, I thought this was like a flashback to something that happened. And so when Kaz and Nej were like getting real close and touching each other, I was like, what is happening? What are you doing? This is not their characters at all. And not because I don't want them to eventually get to that space, but because in this storyline where they're at in the plot, they can't do that. They both have a lot of trauma to heal from and a lot of growth to be doing before they can do anything like that. And I thought the writers were just like, we're gonna make them almost kiss. Whee! And so once I realized that it was a hallucination, I was like, okay, I guess I can enjoy it. And then when I rewatched it the other day, I was like, okay, I know this isn't real. I'm going to try and enjoy this. And I will say, this thing was straight out of fanfic. Removing the knives, removing the gloves, everything. Like, I have read that in many a fic. So I was like, okay, this is familiar. I've read this before. I see what you're doing. So I really did like that. You kind of got to see that because we'll definitely never ever see this happen. Like if we get any more Shadow and Bone, or if we get any more with these characters, we're never gonna see something like that. So it was a peak for me to see that as a big Knej shipper, but it was also a straight up valley for me the first time watching it because I was scared.
My controversial take is that it was a valley for me regardless, because I just like didn't want to see this yet. Like as much as I love it, as much as I was like eating it up in the moment, very much like I am this mini hot dog right now. I think that I understand the desire to pan to audience desires around Knej because you don't know how many more seasons you're gonna have Shadow and Bone. It's like it seems like they're trying to put in there what they can while they can, but that's not how you write a show, you know?
No.
So, and I just like when I see these two together, I want it to be like for the first time, you know? Now what? Wait, where are we?
We're in our valleys, baby. Let's go.
Oh, we're in our valleys. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Go off.
Me first?
Tell me everything you hated.
Oh, yeah. This is unfortunate. I'll start by acknowledging I don't want to be here right now. Like, I want to be here with you, Caitlin, of course, but I don't want to be here telling you all my valleys. Like, I would like to not have any valleys. But we're here now, okay? We're here, so we're gonna have to get through this together.
Yeah.
The lighting. In the spirit of Marvel, I couldn't see a damn thing that was going on this last 2 episodes. I literally kept trying to brighten at the beginning of the episode using the device settings on my phone when I was watching on my phone, on my TV when I was watching on my TV. I just could not get it there. Like, I was squinting the whole time. Where are my glasses? Again. I was just, the whole time, I was just like, am I really this fucking old? Like, why can't I see anything that's happening? And, I mean, I feel like this show does really good, like, it does good, like, effects lighting, but then when it came to the overall episodes, it just felt like everything was way too dark.
That's how I felt in the season 1 finale. I was like, where are they?
What's going on? Yeah. So I wish that was different. I know that television and screen lighting is a lost art, so I'll try to, like, give them the benefit of the doubt that no one knows how to do it anymore, but at the same time, I would have liked to see the show I was watching, and that will probably continue to be my complaint about every show we watch on Netflix, but, you know.
Big Game of Thrones energy.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. The whole thing where Kaz and Inej are just, like, fighting about whatever, I'm uninterested in that. Like, I literally do not care. Like, in the books, like, their tension between each other, it's just not like that. Like, the things that they have conflicts about, I just feel like those things are so different and interesting than what they're fighting about here, and that's whether Inej should stay or go.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even know.
Yeah,
but
I think that's the main thing.
The fact that they just keep, like, going back and forth with each other. They almost have this, like, enemies to lovers energy that I don't really like, because it's not them. Like, it's just not them, you know? Yeah. Like, Kaz relies on Inej just as much as he appreciates and values her, and I just feel like that's not coming through in these episodes. And then I'm going to say the scene directions could be really different and better, because there are a couple times, so we go back, we talk a lot about this scene in Daisy Jones and the Six, where one person is cheating with another person's wife, and that person comes in the room, the husband, and sees that person, and he literally goes, he literally just goes, and just literally just, he's like, like, and that's like, so an example I have is when Jenya sees David in the tunnels, and she starts running away from him, and it's just like a bunch of scenes of David running after her, and she's running after him, and then she runs into the queen, and it's like a whole thing, and it was just like, it was literally just like, Jenya? And then she was like, and he was like, Jenya, come back. She was like, and I was like, okay, all right, we get it.
I didn't think about that.
We get it. And there's been a couple awkward moments like that for me, where it's like someone has clearly been given a direction to do something, and they just kind of like do it.
Now I have to hit my mark.
Like,
yep.
No one's being direct. No one's giving them good direction. No one's helping those scenes to seem natural, which is, like, unfortunate. This is just, now I'm just nitpicking.
No, go.
But I think it's interesting that in episode 5, Elena gets mad at Mal for not being more angry about everything that's happening, whereas in the book, all this man does is bitch and moan. Like, so I just think it's funny that in the show, she's like, why aren't you more angry about this? It's like, oh, if you knew book Mel, you'd be changing your tune.
He's like, because everyone hated me for it in the books, now I'm trying to be different.
I'm trying to be a better person, you know? And the whole time this fight's going on, I'm thinking, wow, Mal is so nice. He's not complaining at all about anything that's happening. And she's like, why aren't you complaining? And I'm like, girl, just be grateful. It could be worse, believe me.
It can be worse.
So the next thing is just that first of all, I'm very confused about what is going on in the Six of Crows timeline with this sword. I feel like this add-in, I'd have to read the prequel book, right? but I just don't know how this all fits in with everything and like what the point of this is, and I'm just like I'm kind of lost.
I feel like it's like they're like, how do we destroy the Nichivea? Oh, this sword can defeat them, and this story was used in this other book. Let's just put it in there. But like, the Nichivea were able to be defeated kind of eventually in the books. Why can't, like, you have a lot of books like showing how they dealt with it within that story.
Yeah.
Why add that one? Oh, because you need the crows to do something. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah. It's a big no for me.
Yeah.
I almost wish that they had, like, done, okay, we're going to do 2 seasons. One season is going to be, like, all Shadow and Bone. And then the next season is going to be 6 of Crows. Yay! You know. Just so there's some continuity going on and you're not, like, taking these other characters and saying, well, what do we do with them in the meantime, you know? I'm especially confused concerning some of the portrayals of the Shu and Zamini. So, in our review of Ronin Rising, I talked about how I feel like race plays a very odd role in this series, one that I haven't quite like wrapped my head around yet. But I wonder if some of the portrayals of Mongolia and China and Africa are culturally sensitive, because Mongolia and China are kind of in this infusion that is like the Shu, and then Noivizem kind of resembles Africa. And I mean, Bernie Sanders meme, I am once again asking because I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there should at least, and maybe I'm missing this, maybe I just haven't found it in my searches, but I think there should at least be more behind the scenes content discussing the composition of these cultures, because I'm really lost. Like, specifically when it comes to Sancta Nayar's portrayal, which, like, and I could be wrong, but, like, made me feel kind of uncomfortable because I don't know the context for which they've been able to take, like, kimonos and, like, the specific headpiece that Sancta Nayar is making and create that and have that potentially be a product of Chinese culture. And I just wish I had more context about that, or, like, someone was talking about that more from the show. And I keep thinking back to an article I read last year. It's called, I'll link it below, but it's called Shattered Dolls, an examination of authorship and the boundaries of female Asian stereotypes in Western theatrical literature and film. And it's by Maya McGowan at the Illinois Wesleyan University. And it talks a lot about the different stereotypes kind of forced onto Asian women in literature and in movies. And some examples of that are like a geisha girl or like the dragon lady. And you can read more about those in this paper. But I just wonder if Sancta Nayar's character is kind of an archetype of those, or if she was respectfully created and if it can be dignified as cultural appreciation or appropriation. Because I wonder if these portrayals of African and Chinese diaspora are missing the mark a little bit. I genuinely don't know. Like, I'm coming from a place of complete naivety, but I know, like, when Vishwas and I have been watching this show, we're both just kind of like, this tastes funny.
Yeah.
You know? And if I'm completely wrong about that, like, if these cultures have been thought through in a way that's very intentional, then I take back all of that. But I guess that's just something I keep, like,
well, they're good questions to ask. It makes me
kind of uncomfortable about this show. And then lastly, the Firebird reveal was dumb, and I'm mad about it.
Was that your last Valley?
Why are we... Yeah, I guess my last thing is just, like, why are we here already? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's episode 6. There's 2 episodes left in the season where I feel like this could fall into place. I'm very confused about what's going to happen in these next 2 episodes that would round out the story, because it feels like we've taken these last 2 books of Lee's trilogy, and you just kind of said, and here they are.
Yeah.
Here, take it, you know? And I don't know what to do with that. But I know you have more to say about that, so I'll stop there. Go ahead.
I hate how they revealed Mal as the Firebird with all of my heart. So much. I hate it. I think it's the worst thing that this show has done. And it's done a lot. Because if you haven't read the books, he is revealed to be the Firebird, while, like, the Firebird is an actual creature. much like the stag was that we saw, much like the sea whip was. And so was the firebird, because that's what Mal and Alina believe, because, well, these two were real. The firebird must exist. We just have to find it and kill it. And in the books, they find it. But then something happens to where Alina, I can't remember if like the firebird attacks them or what, but basically Alina ends up hanging off of a cliff. Mal catches her, and his arm goes around her wrist, and at this point she has 2 of the other amplifiers, and that's when like she feels the power of the 3rd amplifier, and they both come to the conclusion by themselves that he is the amplifier. How exactly? We got to talk about it first. But they come to that conclusion by themselves because they have the physical and like real, like the feeling of like the power coming through, and they see it with their own eyes. They figured it out by themselves. And it was great. And it was sad because for those two to have to come to the realization of like, this entire time we've been talking about killing the firebird so that we can defeat the Darkling, and oh, you're an amplifier? You're not the firebird, because Mal isn't the firebird, he's an amplifier. The firebird is a creature. Mal is an amplifier that everyone thought that the firebird was. So it really makes me mad that he was told, hey, because like literally it was the stupidest and shortest conversation. Bagra asked Mal, hey, so where did you come from? And he's just like, I was an orphan, and I went from this place to this place, and I was in Karyeva. And she goes, oh, I had family there. You're definitely a Morozova because you were there once. And like he like tells her how he didn't stay in one orphanage until he felt like he was at home, which was with Alina and Karamzin, because he was like, because he's an amplifier, was more like, I guess, needed to be with her. I can't remember exactly how it all works, but that's how he knew he was there. And it was like Bagra heard that, and she's like, yeah, I know who you are. We're related. Cool. And takes him aside and is like, you're a Morozova. Watch, you can close the door with your blood. And he's like, damn, that's rough out there. Anyway, time to go. Like, it was, I don't know. I feel like it took away the magic of it all. I feel like it took away the heartbreak. I mean, it was still heartbreaking for when Mal told Alina what he learned, but I feel like it was more heartbreaking in the book because Alina and Mal come to the conclusion themselves. And it was so sad. And then they had to tell everybody what was going on, and then they had to like sit with it and realize this is the only way that they can defeat everything and move on with their lives. And instead it was just Bagra's like, here's a fun fact about yourself.
Here's a fun fact. It's like, it's so confusing because like the stag, finding the first amplifier plays such a central role in the first season of the show. Yeah. And then the sea whip plays kind of a big role in the beginning of this season. And even then I was like, oh, I feel like that would have taken longer. It should have taken longer. It should have, you know? It should have been the whole thing. And then for them to just be like, man, you're the firebird. Like, it's so, I mean, the existence of the firebird is like something, is like kind of the whole focal point of Rune Rising. Yeah. Like, gotta find the firebird, gotta find the firebird, gotta find the firebird. And then for it to be Mal, like, that is a huge twist. And I feel like it takes some of the weight off of how big of a twist that is to just have Mal be the firebird. And for us to learn that, like, right now, I feel like if I were writing this season, I would want that to be the twist that ends the season. Oh, Mal is the amplifier or something like that. Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd like the end of the season to be them finding the sea whip, but we can't be picky now, can we? Like, it's just, I feel like the pacing is so confusing to me. And then, to your point, I do feel like it is sad what happens. I feel like Archie and Jesse do a really good job of acting out this scene in the show, but I think the love scene that takes place in Rune Rising is one of my favorite love scenes ever in any book ever, of all time ever. So for that to kind of be reduced to something a lot less drawn out was kind of like, because disappointing. Yeah, because in the book it was like their last night that they were going to be together. It was the night before they went into the fold, and they were in a garden, and it was like there were trees and blossoms. Like, it was so romantic. Yeah. And this one was just like, I mean, I guess it was still romantic, but it didn't hit as hard
for me, I feel like. Because it was emotional in the book. Whereas here it was just like, I'm the Firebird. This really sucks. We're both sad.
Damn it.
Let's have
Get
sex.
another giant plot point.
Yeah. It was just disappointing because the bait and switch in the book was so good. And like with like the whole Sea Whip thing, like I understand. I'm not at all surprised that they combined book 2 and 3 for this, because after the mutiny in the beginning of Siege and Storm and after they kill the Sea Whip and all that, the rest of it is just kind of plotting until the very end.
Yeah.
So I understand why they did that, but I feel like there should have been more focus on these creatures. Like I still am mad that we didn't get the mutiny scene at all. Like I'm still mad that they found the Sea Whip so fast and it was so easy, and then it was too easy.
It was too easy. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just mad that they didn't, like, they straight up were like, the Firebird doesn't exist. It's you. It's like, what do you mean?
It's not real. Yeah, I was like, oh, well, it should be.
All right, cool. Let's go.
They were like, we don't want to animate that. So it's not real.
Yeah, they're like, that's too much. We're not going to give our VFX team enough time or money to do that, so we're just not going to do it. Yeah. Great. These episodes were just a lot of me going, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, I mean, my expectations were like, oh, like, I feel like they're gonna fuck something up, but I didn't know they were gonna, like, do this.
My expectations were low, but damn.
Yeah, not that low.
Yeah.
So, Caitlin, speaking of these episodes, what a bad lead-in. Almost as bad as these 2 episodes. We have our tier list here. You want to tell us the tiers in our tier list, my friend?
Yes. So at the tippy top, we have wee, because that means we're having a really, really good time. The second tier is nice, because it's just like really nice. The neutral tier is I'm just here for a good time. The fourth one is I guess that's what we're doing. And then finally at the very bottom we have right. What's all this then? Because what is all this then?
Where would you rate these episodes on your tier list, Caitlin?
It's hard because when I was rewatching it, I was like, I think these are the stronger episodes of this season, because only because of how much fun I have with the group scenes of the crows. But then I have to consider all of the Shadow and Bone scenes as well. And also, by the way, Matthias is also a part of the story still, and he's in Hellgate, so don't forget that. I continuously...
How is he still in Justice for Matthias?
Justice for Matthias.
Jesus.
So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just here for a good time. But then, like, the more we talked about it today, I was like, nah. This is like, actually really, like, didn't enjoy this as much as I thought. So I'm putting it in, like, I guess, because at this point I'm like, because I've seen the other 2 episodes, and this one is, I guess, whereas the other 2 might be a different rating. That's all I'll say for now. What about you?
I'm interested. I think I'm at right. What's all this thing?
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't really know. I'm like kind of frustrated. I don't know if I'm just like in a bad mood. Or what, you know, Aunt Flo's knocking at the door, or if it's genuinely just like these are not good and I'm not interested in them and I'm having a really hard time engaging with the show now because of how much they've taken me out of the original plot.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm sitting. I don't want to be here.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to find positives, but when I was watching these today, I was like, why are you doing that? You know?
The annoyingness outweighs the things that I liked about it.
Yeah, and I'm like debating. I'm like, am I just like a hater, or is this like all valid? I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm standing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, thank you for listening to Live by Moonlight.
Yeah.
Tune in next time when we review episodes 7 and 8, the final episodes of Shadow and Bone Season 2, which Caitlin is hinting may make us feel differently than these 2 episodes did. So stay tuned.
We shall see.
I'll tell you if that's true.
Like and subscribe and follow on all of the things. Okay, bye.